Hello, my name is Michael, and today I wanted to do something. I'm planning to start a YouTube series called An Oral History of Team Lightning, or Legends of Lightning, depending on what you're reading, which essentially is a kind of world I've been working on for almost going on 9 to 10 years at this point. And I figured it would be cool if I could get a lot of it down into YouTube videos where people have been asking me questions about it. But before I started on the series, there's one question that I get the most. When people hear about all the crazy stuff that goes on in the world, the main thing they want to know is, who's the strongest? And I tend to feel a little bit frustrated answering that question because out of context, it's just meaningless to you. And a lot of people, they just want to hear who they are. So I'm going to try to give you as brief as I can an explanation, and then I'll go a tiny bit deeper into it. By the way, I don't own this image at all, nor is it meant to represent the character I'm about to talk about. I just wanted something for you to look at. So the strongest character in Team Lightning, probably unsurprisingly, is Hope, Lightning, Danger, and my shift bar does not seem to be working. Very unsurprisingly, he's probably the strongest. Most people just call him Lightning. So Hope is his real first name, Danger is his dad's made up last name, and Lightning is his nickname, so it eventually ended up becoming his middle name. So we'll just call him Lightning for right now. And he attained this feat of becoming the strongest character with a form called Hope Infinitium, which is basically an upgrade to a other form. So he gets a lot of different, suits and abilities and different forms. One of them that he uses is originally just called Hope Fulfilled. Eventually, I misspelled fulfilled. The kind of upgrade to that is eventually gets turned into Hope Fulfilled Black / squared, which has to do because this Hope Fulfilled is all about not reality. It's a paracausal power / not reality power, and that eventually gets turned into Hope Infinitium, which we'll talk about and how he got that form. Like I said, it's a paracausal, I believe I spelled that right, paracausal power / NR. So NR means not reality. So it's kind of a mysterious power. It's not easy to quantify. The form has a 49.9 repeating base Moore's power scale. Moore's on the Moore's power scale. And for right now, we'll just say approaching infinity on the burst Moores. So it's definitely pretty crazy. By the way, with Moores, you use O and A interchangeably. It doesn't really matter. What Moores are, for those of you who don't know, is they're essentially a quantification of how much energy you can control. So, in Team Lightning, everything is made up of energy. Everything's made up of not reality, technically, but the things you can manipulate that everything is made up of is energy. And Moores simply refers to how much of that energy you can manipulate. So, if I was to turn the energy in the air around me into, a ball of fire, then by manipulating that energy into something else, I'm interacting with it, and I'm giving off a certain amount of Moores. That's how much I can control energy. And Moores is also exponential, so going from 14 Moores to 15 Moores is significantly more than going from 13 to 14. The reason why it's 49.9 repeating is because 50 is considered to be unobtainable. It'll be yet to see, maybe, because like I said, people just keep on getting stronger. So, we'll see. Currently, we're at the destruction of Delta 1001 in the timeline. That's where we're at, and that's where Hope Infinitium comes from. Now, Burst Moores. So, the difference between base and Burst Moores, essentially. Base Moores is how much you can manipulate all the time. So, if I have a base Moore of 50, or base Moore of 5, not 50, then I can always be manipulating 5 Moores of energy. So, I could create a house, and then it'll always just stay there as long as I'm manipulating that energy. Compared to burst is how much theoretical amount of Moores you could manipulate. So if I can manipulate 100 Moores, then I might be able to do it, but I can't sustain it. It's not sustainable. That's the difference between base and burst Morse. So how this happens, how we get Hope Infinitium, and this is where we're going to kind of get into like the deep lore dive, but I'm just going to go over it really quickly. Essentially, Lightning here gathers up all the Zero Sabers from all 5 of the shells, and he puts them all together to create the Requiem of Solace, I should probably capitalize the S, which is like the sister sword to the All Sword. With the Requiem of Solace, he goes ahead and he so the way you make the Requiem of Solace, all the Zero Sabers, you have to destroy the black heart in one of the shells, and then you kind of use that Not Reality Squared / Black Not Reality to kind of rebind all the Zero Sabers together. When you use the Requiem of Solace, it's just super amplification of anything you have. So he has the Requiem of Solace, and during the battle for Delta 1001, where they lose, but before they do, what happens is Lightning manages to achieve his, so here's the thing about these forms. Hope Fulfilled and Hope Fulfilled Black, he can only use for like milliseconds. Hope Infinitium is like around the same power as these two, but he can hold it for up to 5 minutes, so he can hold it for quite a bit. So he achieved his Hope Black, and while he was doing that, he was able to take all of that hope, and he was able to transfer it to just the tiniest bit of Not Reality on the tip of the blade. And he was able to shove all that hope into there, and then it kind of burst out, creating this new form, Hope Infinitium. Which is how he ended up getting it. And it's so strong, just for reference, 50 Morse base would be enough to control all of our known reality at once. So that's how, insane it is. It has enough power to stave off the Solace of Oblivion. That's why it's called the Requiem of Solace. And like I said, it's the sister sword to the All Sword. Because of the second True Truth, they were rated together. So yeah, that's pretty much the strongest character. Technically tied with Hope Lightning Danger is a lot of names. It's Enigma / Darkness / Never / God of Destruction / Lightning, or no, Hope of Alpha 1000, and that's just a bunch of names for the same person, essentially, and they are the ones who have the All Sword, and with the All Sword they get Never Infinitium, which is pretty much tied for the most part. So yeah,